Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today we are going to be continuing our look at Pro Strategy Football 2023. This time we're going to look at the career play part of the game. In my previous video I looked at single season, so this is obviously a different piece of the puzzle, so to speak, and we'll look at how career play works. So obviously here on the main screen, what you're going to want to do is simply click this career play button, create new career. You get a little bit of a note here on how this works. It works with a wide variety of leagues, as it kind of mentions there at the top, but there are some limitations, only because I believe that since this is a fairly new feature in the program, I believe this is year 2 for it. You kind of have to have not necessarily a balanced league, but you need to have conferences that are balanced, and you have to have 2 conferences, which still works. I mean, if you wanted to do like a 1950s league, as it mentioned, you could have 2 conferences with 1 division each, so essentially 2 divisions, which is what the NFL actually had at that time, so that would work out. And then there's only a certain variety of postseason formats that are available. So if you click OK, just like when you're starting a single season, you'll have the option to select any of the seasons that you may have in your, or roster sets is what these really are, in your leagues folder. And all of these except for this top guy here, this Figment one, I made that myself when I was playing around for my fictional league. So that one I built myself, but the rest of these were all downloaded except for these bottom 2, which are the ones that come stock with the game. So basically it says NFL 2022 NFL. What it really is an NFL style league. You have all the cities that are in the NFL, and it has the same configuration as the NFL with 2 conferences, NFC, AFC, each holding 4 divisions of 4 teams each, so you have a total of 32 teams across the 8 divisions. You see there's 2 versions, one that has 43-man rosters and one that has 53-man rosters. Obviously, if you go back a ways in history, the size of the rosters was smaller. That would be the 43-man roster, which works better for earlier years, but obviously for modern era, current day stuff, you would probably elect to go with the 53-man roster. So that's what we'll do here. We're just going to pick this guy. It'll ask if you want to load it for career play. You will say, yes, let's do it. Sets it up really quick. So now you have, basically this is really similar, at least this part of it, to a single season setup. When you get over here, you get a little bit more options than you would if you were just doing a single season, and we'll get into that in a second. So you have your start year, the league name, the championship name, so you can make it Super Bowl 52 or whatever if you were starting a 2022 league. A stadium where the championship game will be played. When you want your season to start. Your primary team. So you can actually manage multiple teams here if you wish to, or you can just pick one team. So let's just say I want to play as San Francisco. So we'll select San Francisco. So now that's my primary team. You can actually go in if you use teams here. Actually, no, it's this one. Career team owners. You can pick other teams if you wanted to control another team. So if I wanted to control like Las Vegas, I could just check Las Vegas and then we'll have it. Anything not checked is run by the computer. So the computer will handle all the roster management and coaching and all that stuff as well. Although you can, if you play out the games, you can pick a team and run that team for that game if you wish to. So we're going to go back here, click the back button. Yes. Oops, I screwed that up. Big mistake there. All right, so we're going to go career play, and we're just going to pick up where we left off. We're going to say resume career. All right, so I shouldn't have hit back there, obviously. What we need to do, anything that's in red is something that you have to handle before you can actually start your season. So let's just say this is obviously where we are right now. You can see it doesn't change anything. Options, right? This one, once you go in it turns green because it has some options set by default, and you can leave it as is or you can change it. So do we want to have the allow players to retire at the end of the season? Sure, why not? Let's turn that on. we'll just turn everything on, automatically scout all draftees. If you want to have a little bit more of a challenge, you could turn that off so you get, I think, less information on the rookies. The free agency phase, basically free agency in this game is a draft. So there's no money yet in the game, so no finances. That has not been implemented yet. As I mentioned before, I think this is the second year of this particular feature, which is nice because you can generate history and play multiple seasons over time, etc., etc. Very, very fun and entertaining. But right now, there's no money involved. So when players become free agents, essentially they just go out into a free agent pool, and then everybody can draft them, essentially. So not specifically true to life, but it is a way to have some player movement, essentially, between teams without trading, right? So you can have this on. You can actually turn it off and just keep all your players every year if you wanted to have a more static, almost like old school reserve days of the NFL before free agency, where basically they had you for life and could do with you as they saw fit. No guaranteed contracts, none of that stuff. So I'm just going to leave that turned on. We'll use the same order as the rookie draft, but we'll go serpentine so it reverses every round. We'll do 2 free agents per team just to keep it simple, because this is just going to be a fairly basic run through of how this works, just so you can see all the phases and stuff, and get an idea of how it works. So we're good with that. So now I'm going to click this up here. We're back to the rules, and the only thing that's red here is the select schedule, which also says required. So you do have to pick a schedule. The game is nice enough to actually give you the official 2022 schedule. So you get that. We're all set up. We're ready to go. We're using the modern playoff structure that was put in place in 2020, as you can see right here. You can look at your rules, and these are, current rules. Everything is pretty much what you would expect, right? We'll hit OK. We're ready to start. So we just hit all done down here, and now it's going to say head to season play. So basically the season play works out pretty much the same as it would if you were playing just a straight up regular season. You can do the same kind of things. You can go into week 1, look at all the games. You can sim them if you wanted to. You could play one out if you want to you hit coach, you get to play the game. You could sim it, and then look at the highlights later with the watch, etc., etc. So, I mean, everything that was shown in the first video I did regarding season play is the same here in the career mode. This is basically season play inside of or under the umbrella of career play, which is just adding some stuff at the end of the season, to kind of change up things a little bit. You'll have players retire, get new draftees, obviously, etc. all come in, and then you can move on. So we're actually just I'm going to go back here, and what I'm going to do is, if you click simulate, you get this career phase automation. So you can jump through the entire season in one go, basically, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go simulate playoffs, and we're going to go through the whole season. So it'll simulate all the regular season games, it'll simulate the playoffs, and we'll jump right into the off season, just so you can see what all of these things look like inside the game. So I'm going to hit do it. It's going to quickly play out all our games. We'll go through 18 weeks of the season. Then you get your championship and everything. You can see San Francisco lost in the wild card round. If we look at our standings, Green Bay had a really good year. New Orleans, San Francisco, Dallas, and Philadelphia finished tied. Buffalo, Baltimore, Indy, and the Chargers, or LA. They all have different names in here, so you can see they lost in the wild card. If you kind of go through, you can see, well, that's the team I just looked at. Joe, come on, man. Right, you can see where they did. They actually got to the conference final and lost to Cincinnati. So if we go to Cincinnati, they apparently made it to the big game, and they lost the championship to Green Bay. So you have Green Bay won the championship. You can look at the box score. The Green Bay Cheeses against the Cincinnati Tigers. Green Bay Cheeses in a tight struggle. Green Bay edged Cincinnati. Here's your MVP. You can look at stats and see everything. So The interesting thing with this, actually, if we go back out here to like team, let's look at the leaders, right? So these players are, I believe at least, based on the real players. So this, even though his name is Felix Daniel, I'm pretty sure this is modeled to be Patrick Mahomes. Now, if we open him up, his number is 15. He's 27 years old, right? The college, Davidson, obviously that's not right, but they don't tie. They're fictional versions of their real life counterparts for licensing reasons, essentially, is what I'm assuming. And you can see his stats. What a monster season! 5,251 yards passing, 44 touchdowns. That's really nice. But you can also see here that you have this career column. So as we advance through history, his number of games will go up. You'll see games that he missed due to injury, etc. And then you'll also get all of the stats that'll count up as he plays. So we will go back here, and now we're in the off season. So you go to action off season, and this will just tell you this is where we get our roster update. Season's over, players are older. The screen displays their updated ratings. To help determine each team's draft needs, an asterisk by player's name means the player has one or more modified ratings. Younger players have a high chance of improving, though some will fade, while older players have a higher chance of declining. Most players have more than one screen of information, so tap the greater than sign button on each to toggle that group's information. So if we go to our team here, San Francisco, you have this, and you can see it changes the columns that are visible. Right, so we see our top guy went down. This would, I guess, be the fictional equivalent of Jimmy Garoppolo, and a beta, I'm guessing, is Trey Lance due to the age here. So you can see that their ratings changed, right? Same thing with your backs, tight ends, wide receivers, your line. So red, obviously, guys who declined. Green, guys who improved. So you look through this and you see, okay, it's, so-and-so got better or worse, and so on, right? So that's just a kind of a recap to see like how they basically finished the year. So now we have to go to simulate again, and we're going to just automate off-season. That's just a way to advance the stage. I'm going to say do it. Now we're in the Scout free agents pool. So here's where you can see all the free agents by position. So these are our free agent quarterbacks. The Atlanta QB, Rainey from Houston, Parnell from New York, et cetera, right? So no big shakes there. None of those guys are particularly great. Here's our OVR. Running backs, we do have a good back here from Tennessee. Gee, I wonder who that might be. You have fullbacks, you have tight ends. Oh, look, KC's tight end. Again, who could that be? Receivers, that's an interesting one. There you go. We know who this guy is, right? And that 93 rating's really nice. So he might be somebody you want to grab up if possible. Then you can look at offensive line, defensive line, linemen. Offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, and DBs. And you can see who your free agents are as well. So Moon and Spalding are free agents. You can see that you've got some nice, at least one very nice free agent out there. Your special teams, and then all your players, or rather all of the available players this is. And their OVR has a letter grade, basically, to kind of denote who's worth it and who isn't. So we're going to go back. And we already looked at it, so I'm going to skip through this. We'll go do it. All right, we already looked at our free agents. Now it's the same thing, but it's the draftees, right? So these are the rookies that are coming in. So you're going to have a couple of really good-looking quarterbacks. The running backs are kind of okay, but not, they're a little deep maybe, but not impact guys. Fullbacks, tight ends, wide receivers. I think if you do this, it goes to line. Yeah, so here's our linemen. There are some nice linemen in here. D-line, there's some nice D linemen as well. And then you have your linebackers, your DBs, etc. So we're looking for help here at free safety and our ninth defensive back. And you have your kicker, your punters, your returners, etc. Right? So all kind of straightforward. Same kind of thing. At the end, you get kind of a rundown of all the available guys. So we'll go back again. We'll simulate through this just to kind of keep things moving. Now we come to the franchise players. So if we go to our team here, these are the guys who are free agents. Now, franchising them here, because there's no money really, all it does is it just lets you keep them. So I'm going to say we're going to keep him, right? Why not? He's a decent player. So we're going to keep him. He was, of the 3 guys who were free agents from our team, he was the best. So just makes sense. He's kind of old, but we'll keep him. So now we'll do simulate again just to get to the free agent draft. All right, so now we go to the free agent draft. And you come in here and you get a nice little draft screen here. It says start the draft. Start the draft. And you can see all the computer teams, and my team drafts 24th. So you can automate pick by pick if we just want to see who went first, right? Parker Connor. So this is him. He's a kick returner apparently, but he's pretty good. And then you can do this through the whole thing, right? So we got an offensive lineman, went to Houston. We just do everybody up to your team here. Now we get to tap on our team and we get to pick who we want to sign. So let's look at line. I think it was DB that I needed, right? So we'll go to the D. Whoops, I went past it. We'll go to the DBs. Well, nothing real exciting, but we'll take this guy, I guess, so that we can have a, help our thinnest unit. And so that's how that works. And then you click this to go to the next. Oh wait, we go back. And I don't want to simulate it. So go next phase. Okay, so now we go to the rookie draft. This works the same way. I want to make this pick. So here's our number 1 pick. He's a defensive lineman. Number 2 pick is another defensive lineman. Then we get our first quarterback going to Pittsburgh. Chicago takes a linebacker. Atlanta takes a defensive lineman. Seattle takes the other really solid-looking quarterback. Miami takes a linebacker. D-line, linebacker. A lot of defense. Linebacker, D-line, linebacker. Whole lot of defense going here. D-line, linebacker, D-line, linebacker. All right, so looking at my roster, I don't know. I could draft a quarterback because these guys aren't looking all that good. I could take this guy here, Xavier Peltier. That's not terrible, and he might be better than what I have right now. I always like to look at linemen because, I'm a big fan of the guys up front. They protect the quarterback. They make the offense go, I think. So we're going to draft a lineman here. We're going to take Myers, and then we'll go automate rest of round. And then we'll click next round. And I'm going to automate all the computer teams to get back to my pick. And I'll come in here and I'll say, okay, I want to pick. Look, Peltier is still here. We'll take him now in the second round. And then we'll automate the rest of the round. And now I'm just going to kind of go to the next round. And then I'm going to automate the whole draft. We'll just finish it up. So now that we're done, we have to finalize our roster. So let's go to our roster. Now we have too many players, so we're going to take Mr. Zhao here. We're going to move Peltier up so Zhao gets cut because we can only carry 3 QBs, not 4. Peltier is actually going to, he's going to get the nod. Okay, so let's move our quarterback here up to the starting role. Why not? Give the kid a chance. And as I said, Zhao will get cut. Wilbur, that's fine. Let's see who else. Yeah, Yep. This guy obviously is not going to get cut. He's at 83. He's going all the way up. We'll put him at left tackle. Why not, right? And we'll take Christensen. Yeah, I actually like that. So he can play left guard. Works for me, man. And, well, let's take Nzegwu here. Move him down. Move this guy up. Now what you can also do is there's this automate button down here, and we can click that and it'll adjust your roster for you. So we'll do that and we'll see if it actually made any changes. Nope. I mean, it basically is just going to use the OVR and sort it that way, I'm pretty sure. Although actually it put the rookie at center for some reason. Well, whatever. This is just for an example, not a big deal. I guess we're cutting our kicker and our punter. Alright, well, that's fine, I guess. Now we'll go to simulate to go to our next thing, which is drills. And we go to the drills. Now if you come in here, again, we got to go to our team. Right, so it kind of automatically sets this up for you, and then you can adjust it. So if we wanted to take a point off of here and say give it to our cause fumbles or something, just as an example, we'll hit apply. Right, so if you click the help here, you'll always get a little bit of information on what each thing, right? So it explains how a little bit of how the engine works in determining the result of a play. So the help in this game is really good, and you can actually get at the manual really easily too here on kind of the main screen if you click the user manual. And we're in career, so it's somewhat contextual in that it kind of knows where you are in the program, and it'll open up the help that is applicable to that spot in the game. So we have our intro here with information on backing up and restoring, all kinds of stuff, right? Basically the things that you see here on the main screen underneath here, this stuff right here. So yeah, I would definitely, if you get the game or have the game, definitely make use of these, you know, the manual being in here, all the little help things that you get inside each of these. You know, if we went to Washington and we want to see how ball security is, you know, factored in with weather, play, ball carries fumble rating, determining the chance of a fumble occurring. So, you know, Kerry Batts, the developer, has done a great job of making this game as user-friendly as possible. That's why, that's one of the reasons why I think this series will go places, is because he's devoted to actually improving it every year. And he, you know, as I've mentioned before, probably ad nauseum by this time, he actually listens to what the users are saying, you know, the people who play the game, because you know, as a programmer you can kind of get tunnel vision. You're focused on your project, and even though programmers try to think about what the user needs, what the user wants, etc., it's always good to get feedback from outside. I am a programmer actually, so I know this from my own experience, that it's always good to get another set of eyes on your stuff, because people will see things that you miss, and people will make suggestions, occasionally stupid, but most often they're going to be actually helpful. So he's really great about this, doing that, listening to what people are saying about the game, and you know, obviously he can't incorporate everything all at once, but he makes incremental improvements every year, and that's just awesome. So we've made our changes. Now we'll go and we'll simulate through this phase, and you'll get, you know, you can go in and you'll get you'll see, well, this is obviously the training camp now, so you can pick 3 players. If we go back here, well, I know somewhere it tells you, if we go in to the team, I think somewhere basically it tells you get three. I forget where this is. Maybe it's in the help. So yeah, you can dedicate training resources to specific players with standard training. So you can basically, a random attribute will get increased by 1 point. Training with standard training points cannot exceed a player's max potential, and each player can only receive 1 standard training. So we'll give, let's give 1 to our rookie quarterback. We have 3 remaining, so you can do three players basically. So we'll take that, and he increased his interception rating to an 8 for medium passing. So that's valuable. I would try and kind of accentuate the younger guys, because younger guys improve faster and in theory maybe have a higher ceiling. You don't really know what a player's potential is, but like I said, I try to go with young guys. So we'll give our center here a boost as well, make him a little bit better. He's up to an 88. That's really nice. And then we'll take Bristol here because he's only 25. And I think we're going to boost him as well. Just looking around, I think that's probably the best use for our last point here. I mean, he's really good. Maybe we shouldn't bother, but maybe his durability will go up or something. Let's do it. As pass rush went to a 9. So, I mean, this is basically a stud now. 97. That's just outstanding. I guess you can't really open it up, but you get the point. Like the overall rating being a 97, that's really, really solid, of course. Now we just go back again, and we'll just hit simulate. Last one, do it. Boom. We're on to 2023. And you come back to this, basically season options page or screen. And, you can't change your starting year because we're already mid-career now. But you have your league name. You can actually modify that if you want to. You can change your championship game. So we'll change this to 53, right? And you can change your stadium and, to be like a generic company stadium or something. And, you can even switch up your teams. You got to select your schedule, do like a random modern pro schedule. And you go in here again, we got the same things. This is the only time you can actually change this. So if you want to have more free agents, you can turn this up. You don't like the serpentine order, you can switch that up and make it just a straight order, each round being the same, etc. And again, this is really the only time you can do this is in between seasons, because once we finish this and we hit all done, it's going to say, are you really sure about doing this? Head to season play. Yes, let's go. And now we're in the 2023 season. We're back to the beginning. You repeat it. You can go in here and you can see all your transactions, who got franchised, who was cut. Basically you get your whole history here is at your fingertips, because you have team's history. You can come in here and look at your team history. There won't be much to it because we're only in year 2, but you get your basic stats, your record, etc., what happened in the playoffs if you make it, things like that. You can look at season stats for this year. For season 2, you can also go team by team records. So you'll see how you did against everybody over the course of your career as years go by. You'll see, well, right now we're 1-2 against Arizona. That's obviously who beat us in the playoffs, right? Postseason lost 0-1. So we split with them in the regular season, lost in the playoffs. That's a divisional opponent, obviously. That's why we've played them twice and then once more in the playoffs. So you get the idea. Again, the goal of doing this video was just to kind of show you the nuts and bolts of this. This isn't some kind of like how-to video or some in-depth thing where we talk about specific strategies and things like that. This is just to give you a look at what the career mode in this game is like. It's probably more bare bones than some would prefer it to be, but again, this is, to me, this is an ongoing process. And I will continue to buy this game every year because it gets better every year, and I enjoy it anyway. Could there be more to it? Of course there could. And will there be more to it in the future? I'm thinking the answer to that is also, of course, there will be. So I like to support an independent developer like this, not just because I'm a programmer myself, but also because I think this is a product worth supporting. So enough rambling from me. You guys get the gist. the reason why I did this, etc., etc. So I am going to wrap it up and stop rambling on here. So as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Please consider sharing, liking, maybe even subscribing to help grow my channel. I know some people are sports focused, some people are war game focused, and they may not watch the other side. My channel does both, and my channel name is Hexed Encountered, which kind of goes more with a war game focus, but I definitely play sports games a lot. There will be a sizable amount of sports game content on my channel. So if you're a sports person interested only in sports games, don't let the fact that I do war game stuff dissuade you from subscribing. You can easily ignore the notifications. Everybody gets 1 million pounds of spam a day via email and notifications on your phone and everything else. So this would just be one more tiny little thing. I guess at least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So until next time, this has been Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Thanks, and as always, happy gaming.